victims of either road accidents, either by human error or whichever circumstance that they find themselves in. So as we discuss this topic today, kindly shed some light on the World Day of Remembrance for road traffic victims.
Well, the World Day of Remembrance for Road Traffic Victims was started by World Peace in 1995. This is a charitable organization in the UK, and it was in 2005 that the UN endorsed it, the United Nations, and it was accepted as a day to be commemorated to remember victims of road traffic accidents. So these are people that have died in road traffic crashes, and those that have been injured, their families, communities, as well as the emergency teams. We have the Road Transport and Safety Agency, we have the Zambia Police. These are trying to keep the road safe, so these are also commemorated on this day. And we also have the medical professionals. As you are aware, the medical professionals are the ones that deal with these people who are going through these traumatic experiences through the road traffic crashes. So it's a day to give tribute even to the people that are working to keep the road safe, as well as the victims that have died and their families, as well as the community.
Okay, when is this particular event scheduled to be commemorated?
This is a worldwide event, so it's commemorated every third Sunday of November. So you'll find that every year it's a different date, but it has to be the third Sunday of November. So this year it's being commemorated on the 20th of November, and Zambia is joining other countries to commemorate this day. And the Road Transport and Safety Agency, as the lead agency in road safety, is in charge of the activities that are going to be undertaken in the country. So as an agency, we're going to have activities throughout the 10 provinces to commemorate this day.
Maybe you can shed some light on what activities you have lined up. Are they just matches, or what events that have you lined up?
So the activities that have been lined up, we're going to have, like in Lusaka, I'll talk about Lusaka, and this is what will happen in the other provinces. So in Lusaka, we're going to have a march past from the Ratsa Didan Kimati office, which is our head office. We'll march from Didan Kimati, Ratsa office, through Church Road and get to the Cathedral of the Holy Cross. And we will have a church service on the same day at 14 hours at the Cathedral of the Holy Cross. So we'll have different people coming through to be part of this event.
And maybe every commemoration comes with focusing on a theme. What theme is being commemorated? The commemoration is being commemorated under what theme this year?
Well, this year's theme, firstly, there's a hashtag, which is WDOR 2022, and then there's also a slogan, which is remember, support, and act. So the idea is for us to remember those who have been victims of road traffic crashes and their families that are going through the stress of losing somebody. And we should also remember the people that have been left disabled by those road traffic accidents. And then we should support those that are surviving. There's a need to support the survivors of those traffic victims, as well as the families. And then act. What step are we taking ourselves? We should take action to reduce the number of road traffic crashes. So that is the slogan: remember, support, and act. And the theme this year is justice. So when we're looking at justice, it's looking at traffic law enforcement. So the theme is calling upon the judiciary system to come in and help. And as an agency, as the Road Transport and Safety Agency, we're being encouraged to strengthen the capacity of accident investigations, because we need to be able to gather enough information when an accident happens, so that somebody who has done something wrong may be charged. Because when this is carried out seriously and fairly, people will be very happy. The victims of the accidents, as well as their families, the families that have lost loved ones. So we should ensure that the criminal prosecution, where appropriate, it should be there, and then also civil compensation for those that have gone through such a situation. So this is what mainly the issue of the justice is talking about.
Right. When we are looking at in the slogan, there's an element of support. In what form of support are you calling on the members of the public? Of course, we are looking at you did mention that the victims who have perhaps been left permanently disabled. There are also those who perhaps have lost their lives due to road traffic accidents. And so, what kind of support, in what form of support, and who are expected to offer this support?
So, you know, when we are talking about support, it's not always that the support should have to do with money,
monetary terms,
not monetary all the time. Sometimes it's the counseling, because some people have gone through so much stress and they need somebody to talk to. They need to accept the condition in which they are in. So just counseling, the medical professionals offer that counseling. Even other organizations do offer that counseling. So people can offer counseling. And then there are other people. I know we have some organizations that have come in and supported through the provision of devices that people should use, like wheelchairs, crutches. So those are some of the things that these people who are going to be, who have been involved in road traffic crashes, or those that have survived, these that have survived, they need such support.
And when you talk about justice, which is in the theme, before we look at what really inspired this year's theme, how do you reconcile with regards to dispensation of justice? If for some reason someone stabs another human being and causes death, or maybe stones, or whichever mechanism they use to take a life of somebody, and then with regards to road traffic rules, someone is charged with causing death by dangerous driving, but two lives in separate ways have been lost. So how do you reconcile the justice dispensation for someone who has been killed by way of maybe having been stabbed or stoned, and then someone who has been bashed in a road traffic accident and loses a life? The sentences seemingly are different. Causing death by causing death by dangerous driving seemingly looks like it's a lighter sentence as compared to someone who's killed by way of maybe a knife, a gun, or whichever means. So how do you reconcile the call to justice when you're looking at the thing?
Well, I wouldn't go deep into that. What I would explain is, when a life is lost, whatever way, however way it is done, a life is still lost. So usually when judgment is being done, it's dependent on the situation. So I wouldn't like to get deep into the policy issues, but that is the main thing: a life lost, and then they'll look at the situation in which the life has been lost, and obviously that's how they come up with it. Right. But it's not, I wouldn't say it's taken lightly when somebody is somebody dies due to a road traffic accident.
Right. Then what inspired the theme for this year?
Well, the theme, like I mentioned earlier, this is organized by the United Nations and the World Health Organization, so they take this seriously. So this theme is actually the same theme that is commemorated worldwide. Okay. So it is actually selected by them, and then it is shared, and we all have to follow the same theme. And make it fit into our situation as countries.
All right, so coming back home now, why should Zambians or Zambia itself take interest to commemorate this World Day of Remembrance for road traffic victims?
As Zambians, we are not spared by these road traffic accidents. Just like any other country, we are all part of this, and it has become like a pandemic, the issue of road traffic accidents, and we can't run away from that. So as Zambians, And as an agency, we want to remember these people. We want to offer support to the families. We want to know that we are there for them. Give them an opportunity to even be able to share their stories. So what usually happens, like even when we are having our church services, we have people that we invite, people that have been affected by road traffic crashes. So we would invite survivors to come and talk about their experience, to share their experience of what they went through. And we've also had people that have lost loved ones come to share their experience of how their lives have been affected. And you know, when someone shares their story, it helps somehow to start making to start relieving them. So as an agency, we want to share this with everybody, and then we also want to bring in that issue, the aspect of justice, so that people should be talking about it, and we see how members of the public, how our country can be helped, because we're losing a lot of lives, and the economy of the country is also being affected by that, the loss of people.
And of course, under the lead by the United Nations and its agencies to spearhead this, but of course locally you are the lead agency that is spearheading the commemoration of this very important day. Who are the stakeholders? Are there any other stakeholders that you are working with? I do not take note that you also did mention the Zambia police. Who are the other stakeholders that you are working with?
Yes, during this event, we are working with different stakeholders. It is important for us to reach out to different people, of course, so that the word goes round. So firstly, we're working with the faith-based organizations. These are the churches. So we've actually engaged the church mother bodies, because we're going to conduct church services. We're going to light candles in remembrance of people that have been lost in road traffic crashes. So the churches are our major stakeholders for this one, but we have also the other stakeholders I mentioned. We have the Zambia police, we have the medical professionals, so we are going to deal with the Ministry of Health and the hospitals, and then we have we have different NGOs that are joining us, and of course our mother ministry is going to be there, the Ministry of Transport and Logistics, and we have different stakeholders that we've invited to be part of this event. So it's a very important event, and we want different stakeholders to buy into what is being done by the Road Transport and Safety Agency.
Right. It's just an open event. Who's eligible to attend the event?
We are all affected by road traffic accidents, so everybody is actually invited to be part of that event. They could actually get in touch with us and tell us they would like to be part of this event, so that we give them more details about the event. So everybody is free to attend, because one way or another somebody has been touched by somebody's death or some accident that has happened.
Maybe for purpose of clarity, the main event taking place in Lusaka, I think I take also note that you did mention about in the 10 provinces. Have you taken an initiative maybe to drop it down to district level? Or selected districts?
The selected districts are going to commemorate as well, where we have the presence of the Road Transport and Safety Agency.
Okay.
So we are not in all the districts, but in other provinces.
But at least at provincial level, it will be there.
At provincial level, definitely, it shall be done.
Okay.
Yes.
Right. This is Road Safety with RATSA, and we are looking at the World Day of Remembrance for Road Traffic Victims, a day that is globally celebrated or commemorated on the third Sunday of November. And for purpose of your participation, as you can just take note of our topic of discussion today, we are focusing on people who have been affected who have been victims of road traffic accidents and would want to hear maybe a testimony, a word of caution or word of support, or something that should be done to avoid these fatalities or these accidents that happen daily globally and domesticated right here in Zambia. If you have a contribution to make, our text line is 0978 772-801, 0978-772-801, and our call line, if you need to call us, our call line is 0772-832-122, and I please stick to the topic, and we're looking at victims of road traffic accidents. Ms. Linda Mwo Sakala, Principal Education and Publicity Officer from RATSA, is right here with us in the studio. So those are the platforms, and of course you can drop a message on our Facebook page as we look at these preparations and commemorations. All right, Mala Zuma, our Facebook follower, writes and says, please install road speed cameras with proper warning posters of speed cameras ahead or all high-risk places. This idea of having physical policemen standing in the bush and appear on the road to extort rather than mitigating road risks awareness. That's a comment with regard to risks on the road. We are looking at enforcement officers also who perhaps could endanger their lives by conducting themselves in a risk way, like Mala has said. This is Mala Zuma. All right, so though that's a comment from our Facebook follower, and that's Mala Zuma. Of course, we have also text lines which we'll be reading. If you have a caller on the line, our line is 0772-832-122, and our text line is 0978-772-801. So as we discuss this importance, maybe you may highlight some of the prominent causes of road accidents in Zambia that if you have any statistics that you can talk about, and the common causes of road traffic accidents that even lead to fatalities, at times just minor injuries, but an accident is an accident due to either human error or mechanical fault of a motor vehicle. Maybe you can walk us through some of the dangers, some of the causes of road traffic accidents according to the agency.
So I'll give some statistics based on 2021 accidents recorded. So in the year 2021, the accidents that were recorded were 32,372. So these are the recorded road traffic accidents. So out of these, you have the fatal, the serious, the slight, the damage only. So that's the breakdown of those accidents. But going to your question, where you talked about the main causes. So from these statistics that we have, the 32,372, we'll mention the major ones.
Maybe I'll hold you for some little while. We have a caller on the line.
Okay.
You are through to road safety with RATSA as we look at the World Day of Remembrance of road traffic victims. Good morning. We can hardly hear you. Good morning.
Yeah, morning. How are you?
We are fine, thank you. Tell us your name, sir, and where you're calling us from.
Yeah, I'm calling from Western Province.
Yes, sir. As we look forward to commemorate the Day of Remembrance for road traffic victims, what is your contribution to the program?
Yeah, my contribution is that the first advice goes to the drivers. Sometimes the traffic, they should be observing those drivers that maybe they have drinking alcohol. So for us to reduce the issue of accidents in the road, we have also to advise the drivers not to have a high overspeeding. Then from there, we are appreciating for the day that you have placed to remember those who have been engaged in the accident.
Okay.
So that is very much important to us. But we are following the your stories.
Thank you so much for your contribution.
What's his name?
All right. Your name again? Sorry, we missed your name.
I'm saying Katongo Sepiso.
Mr. Katongo Sepiso from Western Province would have loved
Yeah,
to specify
part of Senanga.
Part of Senanga.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Mr. Sepiso from Senanga, for that contribution.
Thank you.
And of course, we are looking at the major causes, and so Mr. Katongo highlights use of alcohol, excessive speed. Maybe you can also build up from what Mr. Katongo has just indicated.
Yes, I would like to mention the main ones, the top ones that were the causes of road traffic accidents. I know Mr. Katongo Sepiso has mentioned
All right,
something.
we seemingly have another caller. So let's take 3 calls in a row. Then we give chance to Madam Sakala to respond to those concerns or make comments on those concerns. You are through to Road Safety with Ratsa. Good morning. Hello, you are through. Good morning. All right, seemingly we lost that caller. Maybe we can squeeze in a message. All right, good morning. We are with you in the program, Kandu Motami from Kalabo, and that is a message that is coming through. And this other message says, I with the family, we thank the agency for the best measures that have been set for the Day of Remembrance. We are part of it. Robert Chizingwa from Mwanya in Lumezi, and we have a caller on the line. You are through to Road Safety with Ratsa. Good morning. Please kindly turn off the volume on your radio set or television set as you reach us. Good morning.
Yes, how are you, sir?
We are fine, thank you. And how are you? Tell us your name and where you are calling us from. Then you give us your contribution.
I'm calling from Eastern Province, Lundazi.
Yes, sir. And your name?
Rabo Magawa, Lundazi, Eastern Province.
Your name again, sir. We missed your name.
Okay, Rabo Magawa, Lundazi, Eastern Province.
Lundazi, Mr. Trevor Magala.
Rabo Magawa, Lundazi, Eastern Province.
Okay, please go ahead with your contribution, sir.
Okay, sir, sometimes you see that also this foreign traffic, who causes this road accident. You see sometimes maybe driver is being overloaded, and you see the traffic police, they are chasing the driver. Sometimes to see that maybe he needs to protect himself, to see that sometimes that's why accidents are over on the road.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much. We take note of your concern. But of course, Madam Katongo, Madam Sakala will be able to highlight, as you put it in your place, in your message, you are saying the truck is overloaded and then the police are chasing the truck again. And those are 2 wrongs already being committed by 2 separate entities, rather the driver and also the agents on the other side, or the officers on the other side. We have a caller, another caller on the line. Good morning.
Good morning, Kashan.
We are fine, thank you. Your name, sir, and go ahead with where you're calling us from. Then we'll invite your contribution.
Yeah, this is Mr. B from Mondola, calling from Mondola.
Yes, please.
I just want to find out
Go ahead, please. We'll be able to, yeah.
Yeah. There's a police officer. In the motoka. Then the passenger vehicle. Then after it's Mumbai. Then the police officer after I you allow them to say I'll shoot you because he's drunk. And you allow a police officer now then I saw arrange a motoka after accident, then I started acting on our police officers, our detachment up and apologize because he's the officer in charge to say, oh, this man is wrong, let me weaken myself, bigger myself for 3 days without case. You understand the whole as a police officer. Ever punga mu motoka yangu. Mshirika mwanata ara just because ya bomba mu teko tawafuye ba shule ba ba react just because babomba mu buteeko. I want to find out because twalibakyala na pressure muli ababa bomba mu buteeko whereby nga what accidents and what causing accidents, what mistake.
Okay.
Okay, na after myself na akuchikisha just because ena abomba mu buteeko. Taleta kama na kupata license, taleta kama na umu aba bantu wotembele pamuso just because he's a police officer. Africa myself, mwaleta ube na kanti because babomba mu buteeko. Bafunye basitefiri kyonze pamusewo nangu before kusambira kwetu munangu nabye nabali kwa tefundo pamusewo because the time kilepo kuli mulamu wanji class week and kaka.
Okay, thank you. So, your name again? Okay, all right. There's a caller from Undola. Maybe we can get back to that. Of course, talking about we are looking at the major causes of road accidents, and some of these concerns are linked to what causes accidents. Even if now it's being taken that maybe an officer is involved, and then simply because he's an officer, and then they take advantage of their positions or their portfolios in the public, and so this is a concern that he raises. As you just explain on the major causes of road accidents, maybe now you can respond to these calls.
Okay, so most of the accidents that are recorded are attributed to human error. I remember you mentioned something to do with mechanical, but most of the accidents are attributed to human error. The mistake that a person is making rather than the failure of the machine. So what am I doing wrong? So what we are doing wrong is what is causing many accidents, many road traffic accidents in our country. So for the statistics I gave you for the year 2021, the highest cause was excessive speed, which one of the callers actually mentioned, because it actually represented 14.9% of the road traffic accidents recorded. So when a driver exceeds the posted limit, so if the limit is 80 kilometers and the driver decides to go beyond 80 kilometers, the driver goes 90 kilometers. So this is what we're talking about when we're talking about excessive speed. So that was the highest cause of the road traffic accidents recorded in 2021. So when people should understand that when we're talking about inappropriate speed, it's where the driver drives within the speed limit, but not for the conditions of the road. But this one, we are talking about excessive speed. So the next one, which is also human error, is misjudging of clearance distance. This accounted for 14.5% of the accidents. So when a person forms a wrong idea or a wrong conclusion of how he's supposed to do certain things, of the distance of the other vehicle, you find that there's a problem, because you can't check the distance. You don't know how far that is. Maybe you want to overtake. So that misjudging clearance distance is also one of the causes of road traffic accidents. So you underestimate the speed probably of an oncoming vehicle when you're trying to overtake, or you're trying to attempt to overtake and sometimes you don't even notice there could be a motorist turning right, and all those could cause other causes of road traffic accidents. Another one is failing to keep to the near side. This one accounted for 14.3% of the accidents. What we are saying is you're supposed to keep within your lane. When you are intruding into another driver's lane, then you are failing to keep to the near side of your lane. So even in a situation where we have multiple lanes, like in Lusaka, Greatest Road, you find that traffic is coming. There are 2 lanes on one road, or there are 3 lanes on one road, but you should stick into your lane, because the minute you fail to get you get to the other side, the other lane. This is one of the major causes of accidents in our country, those that were recorded last year. So even when it's actually one lane and the opposite, there's another lane on the opposite, you find sometimes people are probably distracted. They get into the other lane, and then an accident is caused. So what I would advise is people should never overtake other vehicles on a pedestrian crossing. They should avoid that. Or where there are humps, try to avoid that so that you stick into your lane. And always keep left. Remember, in our country, we keep left. So people should avoid even using the footpath. That is a problem that we have when people seem to be in a hurry and are late to go for work. So another major cause of accidents in Zambia, which is related to human error, is cutting in. I'm sure those that are driving, those that have been driving, have done it before, some of them, and some of them have experienced a situation where somebody cuts in. You're not expecting somebody to just suddenly join. You're driving and then somebody suddenly joins into a small opening, just squeezing themselves there. So this has actually caused a lot of accidents, and this has accounted to 8.2% of the road traffic accidents recorded in 2021. And then there's another one, which is reversing negligently, which accounted for 6.3%. So when you're reversing requires a lot of attention. You can't just start, if you're in a parking slot, you just decide to just reverse. You have to ensure you use your mirrors. There's your side mirrors, your top mirrors. Sometimes you even should even look around to check. Even if you have a backup camera. Some people rely on the camera so much, but do make use of your other side mirrors and ensure that you check where you're turning. Physically, you can physically look behind to ensure that you're safe. So this is one of the causes of road traffic accidents that have been high in the country, and that were recorded in 2021. So now going to the
maybe we start with the Lundazi overloaded truck being pursued by the officers.
What I'd like to comment is I can comment on what's our officers because I'm representing
exactly.
The road
These are enforcement officers.
So he talked of the police.
It can be a similar event.
No, I wouldn't know. He was talking about ZP. So first of all, I'll talk about the overloading. People should not get onto a truck that is overloaded. It is a risk.
It might be good.
It is a risk. It is a risk for them. And what we want people to do, when you see a vehicle is overloaded, please call us. That is why we've given you different fora to get in touch with the agency. You can call us on toll-free 983. You can even take a picture, send it to our WhatsApp line, which is 0965429499. Call us on our hotline 0955983983. Please get in touch with us so that we help to intercept those people. So it's for us as an agency, we do not chase. We know. We actually have an app. For those people that don't know, we actually have an app. So if yourself you run away, I have your number plate. It will be easy for me to even trace you just on my phone. So life has been made easy because of technology, so there's no need. As long as I have your contact, as long as I have your number plate, you are on our system, so I'm able to get in touch. That is Mr. Magaba from Lundazi.
And the dollar caller where he's parked off the road.
Okay.
And by any chance or any reason which we may not be privy to, the officer maybe hits or bumps into his vehicle and then uses his position in the public service. It could be in the agency or in the Zambia police itself or any other public organization, then turns around and gives a case to the motorist who parked off the road and where the officer has bumped into his vehicle. In that situation, what should this citizen do?
Well, he's reporting.
And he's narrated that was even incarcerated, put in cells for about 3 days.
He actually said it happened to his relative.
Relative, yes, was put in cells for 3 days.
We don't know the story behind it. So what is always important when you have situations like this, go to the superiors, go and find out, go and explain yourself. This is what happened. Mwaima mwaya mwalondola kuma bosses kulya nga nikuratsa mwaisa nga niku police mwaya mwachita report ato efi achitike nifi nefi.
But he says he was the officer in charge of some
no,
station.
but it's not him who is reporting. He's reporting on behalf
of somebody.
We've had situations where people have reported to us. You come and report on behalf of someone, but then you discover that when you now talk to the person who actually experienced that, they start telling you more about what happened. So it's always good for the person who has been found in that situation to go and report. Even himself, I think it would be nice for him to go and explain. People shouldn't be scared. These are public offices. You are very welcome to come to the agency and talk to us if you have a concern. And public offices are open places, so people should feel free to go to public offices if they have a concern, if they have a complaint. We are ready to listen.
Right. The Senanga issue, a call on drivers not to use alcohol and drive under the influence of alcohol or other intoxicating substances.
Yes, Mr. Katongo from Senanga was advising the drivers. Very grateful that we have somebody who's also guiding other members of the public on doing the correct thing. This is what we want. We want people to help us share that road safety information. So people should avoid drink driving, because when you're driving under the influence of alcohol, your thinking capacity is totally different. And this may lead to you speeding and causing an accident. And the drink and driving can also make you cause other accidents, not just by speeding. So it's always important for people to avoid using alcohol. And I would like to mention, he talked of drivers, but I would like to mention that all road users should avoid being under the influence of alcohol when using the road.
All right. What then should people reflect on as we commemorate this day?
Well, we are aware that people are dying every year. There are millions of people being involved in road traffic accidents, and like I mentioned, it's a pandemic. So, and the people that are being affected mostly are the vulnerable road users. You find that the pedestrians are the highest number of road users that are affected by accidents. And then we have the cyclists, the passengers, and the motorcyclists. So for us, what we want to do is to remind the people that we care, to remind the people that are going through the stress of having lost a loved one that we are there, and having other people come on board and support this initiative.
All right. And what's the word of caution to road users out there for the number of road crashes to be reduced?
For the number of road crashes to be reduced, human error is the main, from what we've talked about, human error is the major cause. We have to change our behavior. First of all, let us follow the road traffic rules and regulations. If there are traffic lights and the traffic lights are red for a motorist, don't move. And we actually have a problem with the pedestrians using the pedestrian crossings. They think just because they are on the pedestrian crossing, there's a pedestrian crossing, they have the right of way. If there are traffic lights, ensure that the vehicles have been asked to stop. That's when you cross as a pedestrian. Wait and have eye contact with the driver to ensure that the driver is not going to move, so that you know that you are safe. A pedestrian crossing, you have to wait and see if it's safe for you to cross. That's when you cross. That's the advice to those. And of course, avoid drinking and driving. Always remember, you can't be in control of a motor vehicle if you're under the influence of alcohol. And I was talking about all road users avoiding the use of alcohol when they're using the road or other intoxicating substances. When a passenger, we've had situations where passengers have been knocked down while they are drunk. Cyclists have been knocked down while they are drunk. So everybody should ensure that they avoid using the road when they're under the influence of alcohol or other intoxicating substances. The mobile phone has also brought a lot of problems. So people should avoid, all road users, again, not just motorists, mobile phones, headphones. You find a pedestrian is crossing the road, they have headphones, they are using the phone. Your concentration is on your conversation. Avoid using the phone or headphones while using the road.
Right.
No overspeeding. Move according to the speed in that particular area.
Okay.
The motorists should also be careful at intersections. And you know, sometimes long distance drivers, they get tired. Please avoid driving for long hours. If you're tired, take a break. If you're driving for long hours, take a break. Because people, when their minds are tired, you don't realize, just one moment you doze and you're off the road. So this is what I can say.
All right. Just before I let you go, just to make sure that you are not alone, this message says, good morning. I feel it is important to maintain speed traps on the roads to curb overspeeding. There is also need to help our traffic police to be more professional while undertaking their duties, as they have equally been the causes of road traffic accidents. That is Michael Sauti from Charleston. And also this message says, good morning, I'm Chipoya Kapopwe, bus driver from Singalume. One problem I see that causes accidents are the owners of the buses. They avoid employing experienced drivers and rather employ a conductor. So that is also another cause. And then this one says, hi, I'm Davis Makonde. I'm a person with disability. Like to talk about youths with disability. They also use the same roads. What do you think of them? All motorists must service their cars regularly, stop overloading, stop jubilation with beer in the highway, stop driving when you are stressed or disappointed, and always respect road users. This is Likeson Likando from Mongu. This is Emmanuel Chira from Eastern Nyimba district. My contribution, please talk about truck drivers and bus drivers, that they don't drive well when they have met a taxi driver. Most drivers now, they only drive when they are drunk, which is not allowed according to the rules of Zambia. So those are some of the concerns, just in line to make sure that your effort is not going in vain. People out there are also trying to empathize with you and your responsibilities as you try as much as possible to make our roads safe. Maybe before we close, your comment, or just generally comment on the messages that have come from our listeners and viewers.
I'll comment on. I'll give some comments on what has been mentioned.
Briefly, because
Briefly.
my director is already signaling to me.
Okay, we as an agency have an engineering unit under the safety department, so they give recommendations on what can be done for certain places to make roads safer for persons with disability. There was an issue raised by Mr. Davis, and then there's an issue of truck drivers not driving well, the issue of owners of buses. That's why I mentioned earlier we have numbers. Please get in touch with us. If you notice that this truck driver is not driving properly, this bus is being driven by an unlicensed driver, get in touch with us. Take pictures. 0965429499, that's our WhatsApp line, and call us on 0955 983 983, and our hotline, our toll-free line is 983. Make use of these lines so that we help you to keep safe on the roads. We may not always be there where you are, but we'll do something when you contact us.
Right.
Thank you.
And in closing, just to remind us yet again on this very important day, what should we look forward to in an effort just to remember those who have been victims of road traffic accidents?
Well, I would actually like people to invite people to join us on that day, and people can actually call us and confirm with us. They can call us on 0954 28 10 14, 0954 28 10 14 to be part of this event. We'll be very happy for you to join us, and please be road smart. Life is precious.
What time does the event start in closing?
In closing, the event, the church service starts at 14, and the march pass starts at 13:30. Thank you.
So very much. Thank you so much for making appearance on this program.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. It's always a pleasure for us to spread road safety information.
All right. We come to the end of this week's edition of Road Safety with RATSA. Remember, we're looking at the World Day of Remembrance of Road Traffic Victims, and my guest was Miss Linda Mwo Sakala, Principal Education and Publicist. And just to recognize that we've taken note of your messages, including you who have been following us on Facebook. And those messages that you send, those of an administrative nature, are also equally forwarded to the agency for their interventions. And so we sincerely thank you so much for joining us and following us on all our platforms. But we have to come to the end of the program. I've been your presenter, Julius Musmali, and of course on my sign language interpreter we had Jason Manda. As we come to the close, remember, the blue light is watching you.
I have agreed with the Zamanis that you will stay and be their help for as long as it takes.
You have always taught me to give all I can in whatever I do.
This is the best chance you ever have of saving your mother.
All you have is yourself. That is all you must remember.
You know how to get rid of family baggage. You have to always know where to let off steam.
You are a Rashanti. You must never forget that Rashantis are never distracted.
Halita.
Taken from the dirt, created from the earth, gone to the fire, I am strong. Break me apart into 1,000 pieces, I will be restored. Throw me away into 1,000 seas, I'll sail back to shore.
Halita.
No way. With so many fantastic shows on so many amazing channels,
they are bringing the heat.
GoTV couldn't get any better, right?
Right.
Wrong. Because we're bringing a whole bunch of brand new channels.
This is a whole new level.
Just for you. Hooray! Like Movie Room.
Akumi Entertainment.
Mnet Essentials.
Sounds like a scoop.
I love it.
Nicktoons and Nick Jr. Studio Universal and many more.
Awesome.
So upgrade or stay connected from 3 October for brand new channels and even more to love. On GoTV. Love it.
Soca. Soca. Ah, Chris!
Get a GoTV decoder for only 349 kwacha and catch all the 64 games of extravagant football live on GoTV Super. Abalea Kata pa GoTV. Dear Chimuela. GoTV. Love it.
Keep watching Parliament Television, a station that brings Parliament closer to you.
Zikuoneka ngati anthu oyipa achuluka kuposa abwino. Zikumaonekanso ngati anthu odziwa malemba achuluka kuposa owachita. Kuno zikumaonekanso ngati azitumiki anu ambiri nkhani ya chuma ya wayenja. Zikumadzaonekanso ngati utenga oti mudzabweranso padakali pano wadaupumitsa. Ine ndeni mati mwina mtumeko angelo anu wandipeze mugetse mani. Zikuoneka ngati pabwera malonda nyumba mwanu. Zikuoneka ngati babisala chifwamba nyumba mwanu. Tumani angelo anu, tumani angelo anu, andipeze mugetse mani. Zikuoneka ngati palola akuba nyumba mwanu. Zikuoneka ngati babisala chifwamba nyumba mwanu. Koma ziri mnyumba mwanu, Yehova mnyumba mwanu, oh mnyumba mwanu. Alowetsa mukuba chikololo komanso malonda mnyumba mwanu. Kodi mesa mati simsintha dzulodzana ndinkuja inu muli yemwe uja mphamvu zanu ziri pompaja. Potakukwapula anthu paja ngati mnachitira kale lija mkachisimuja. Nanga lero bwanji mtumeko angelo anu adzawakwapule. Tati tumani angelo anu, oh angelo anu. Zikuoneka kuti anthu atopa ndi bodza lalowa mnyumba yanu. Zikuonekanso kuti anthu akulizidwa koma nyumba yanu. Shumfweni pokutembela kwa jitata nekwito kukunduku mwiteni makosa yenu bayawe yankosheni kujikatilila Shumfweni pokutembela kwa jitata nekwito kukunduku mwiteni makosa yenu bayawe yankosheni kujikatilila Nemo neliba kumpulusha taku sombi mwopele mwebo nakulu kwikele na mwebo taku pobo kungotwa konemo neliba kumpulusha taku nakulu kwikele na mwebo shumfweni pokutembela kwa jitata nekwito kukunduku mwiteni makosa yenu bayawe yankosheni kujikatilila Shumfweni pokutembela kwa jitata nekwito kukunduku mwiteni makosa yenu bayawe yankosheni kujikatilila yankosheni kujikatilila
It is time, once more, for the world to stand still.
Stand still? Nah.
We move.
We come together tonight, 1 billion of us, in every corner of the globe where the beautiful game matters.
Here for the show-stopping magic of a moment.
And the explosion of
hope and glory.
Brothers, sisters.
For busted people, my party them.
We come here for heroes.
And for heartaches.
Heartache? Come now, Peter, we're not here for that. Not this time, mate.
Get and stay connected to DSTV and watch all 64 matches. Here for every fan.
You're really so
Live on SuperSport.
Mom, Dad, little brother, big sis, grandpa, and grandma. Everyone's going to be smiling when you upgrade to DSTV Family. Because there's something for everyone. Like unmissable, must-watch international series.
Why is he in here?
Fascinating documentaries, real-life crime and medical dramas, as well as the hottest lifestyle programming.
I'm earning some cool husband points here.
The best of Bollywood, including blockbuster movies and award-winning telenovelas.
So much love in the air.
Authentic local stories celebrating the heroes, communities, and traditions of Africa.
That's so good, Andy.
And of course, fantastic European football action with La Liga and Serie A. And to make you smile even more, you get this family-sized entertainment for a lot less than you think. So, upgrade to DSTV Family today using the My DSTV app and keep everyone you love happy.
Taken from the dirt, created from the earth, gone through the fire, I am strong. Break me apart into 1,000 pieces, I will be restored. Throw me away into 1,000.
Thank you, PS. You are welcome. We'll proceed with our meeting. We'll begin with introductions. Honorable members from my right, you can proceed and introduce yourselves.
Thank you, Chair. Good morning, PS and your team. My name is Jacqueline Sabao, Member of Parliament for Chikankata. I'm the Vice Chairperson of the Public Accounts Committee. Thank you.
Good morning, PS, with your team. My name is Jonathan Daka, Member of Parliament for Chadiza constituency and also a member of the Public Accounts Committee. Thank you.
Good morning, all. My name is Melesiana Piri, Member of Parliament for Milanzi constituency in Katete Eastern Province and a member of the Public.
Thank you, Chair. Good morning. Good morning, PS and your team. My name is Alikando Mufalali, nominated member. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Good morning, PS and your team. My name is Nicholas Mukumbi, a member of Parliament for Sorwezi West constituency in Karumbira district and a member of this committee.
And I'm Honorable Umai Victor, Member of Parliament for Chavuma.
Thank you, Officer of the Auditor General. You can proceed.
Thank you, Chair.
My name is Mbewe Francis. I'm Deputy Auditor General Audit. I'm accompanied by Mrs. Grace Chanda, Director Revenue, Mr. Moses Mtonga, Assistant Director Revenue, Mrs. Godfrida Kamangu, Principal Auditor, Mr. Charles Namakando, Senior Auditor, Mr. Herbert Banda, Senior Auditor, Madam Mwamba Sinyani, Auditor, and Mr. Simon Munyama, Acting Senior Auditor. Submit.
Thank you. Accountant General's Office.
Good morning, PS and your team. My name is Elijah Manunga, sitting in for the Accountant General, Minister of Finance and National Planning.
Thank you. The Controller.
Thank you, Chair. My name is Zichwa Mlonda, Control of Internal Audit. I'm accompanied by Mr. Gift Muruwa, Assistant Director in charge of Audit Operations. Thank you.
Thank you. Media. Do we have media? Thank you so much. PS, I'm Warren Chishamwambazi, Member of Parliament for Bwanamkubwa constituency in the Copperbelt province from Undola district, and I'm the chairperson of the Public Accounts Committee. PS, I'll invite you to introduce your team. You can proceed.
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson, and good morning, honorable members of this committee. My name is Mwalusaka Frederick. I am the Permanent Secretary for the Ministry of Transport and Logistics. And I'm accompanied by colleagues from the ministry, as well as the staff from the Road Transport and Safety Agency. And I'll ask that they introduce themselves, starting with the ministry. Thank you, Honorable.
Thank you. You can proceed.
Thank you, Chair. Good morning, Chair, and good morning, honorable members. My name is Stephen Mbewe. I'm the Director of Planning and Monitoring in the Ministry of Transport and Logistics.
I was thinking the line is moving like that. So I think, Madam, you can proceed. Then next year, then now you can come the other side. Thank you.
Good morning, Chair. My name is Chintu Zulu. I'm sitting in for Head Finance from the Road Transport and Safety Agency.
What is your position?
I'm the Revenue Accountant.
Thank you. You can proceed.
Good morning, Honorable Chair. Good morning, Honorable Members of Parliament. My name is Alinani Musisia. I'm the Acting Director and CEO of Road Transport and Safety Agency. Thank you.
Thank you. You can proceed where you left out from there. Thank you. Thank you. Office of the Clerk.
Morning, everyone. My name is Chitalo Mlenga from the Office of the Clerk.
I forgot my secretariat. Thank you so much for the introductions. PS, let me take this opportunity to confer you with immunity in accordance with Cap 12 of the laws of Zambia, that whatever you submit before this committee are protected. However, this is a double-edged sword. If you intend to mislead this committee, the same law can work against you. Let me also make mention that in addition, you will be following the proceedings according to Standing Order number 175, which requires witness to follow and observe directions by the chairperson, who's myself. So you read the query as it appears in the Auditor General's report, mention the amount where applicable, and then your response to that effect. Then thereafter, honorable members will ask you questions. And I do take notice that I think a lot of people here are either acting, others are sitting in. We hope that you've come with a competent team which will answer the questions, taking into consideration that I'm sure you had taken time to make your submission, and you've come with people who give us the answers to that effect. So PS, I'll ask you to proceed and make your submission.
Much obliged, Honorable Chair. We are here to give management comments on the report of the Auditor General on the accounts for the Republic for the financial year ended 31st December 2021. And this is on Head 51, which is the Ministry of Transport and Logistics, and in particular, the Road Transport and Safety Agency, road traffic collections. Now, if I may go straight to 12.2, which is audit findings, an examination of financial and other records maintained at the agency headquarters and other stations revealed, revealed the following. A, under collection of non-tax revenue. In the estimates of revenue and expenditure for the financial year ended 31st December 2021, a provision of 597,944,842 was made for revenue collection, against which amounts totaling 525,627,783 were collected, resulting in an under collection of 72,317,059. That information, Chair, is given in the table on page 2. And management response, the cause. The committee may wish to note that the RTSA collects revenue under carbon emission surtax on behalf of the Zambia Revenue Authority, while the Zambia Revenue Authority collects road user fees at ports of entry on behalf of the agency. The Treasury did not recognize the carbon emission surtax collected by the agency under budget line for road traffic collections, while the estimates of revenue and expenditure for road traffic collections were inclusive of carbon emission surtax. The submissions made during the mid-term review exercise conducted by the Ministry of Finance and National Planning had separated the revenues of road traffic collections, these are road user fees, and carbon emission surtax. However, the figure was consolidated in the estimates of revenue and expenditure. Further, the COVID-19 restrictions continued to affect the revenue collections for the agency in 2021. The agency collected an average daily revenue of 1,578,933 per day. The under collection of 349,308 represented an average of 12 days. Therefore, any disruptions in operations, be it in hours or a few days, significantly affected the prospects of achieving revenue targets for the year. The current status. The Ministry of Finance and National Planning has introduced 2 budget lines for carbon emission surtax collected by the agency. The agency has taken account of the impact of COVID-19 on its future estimated growth of revenue collected. Measures put in place. The agency has engaged the Ministry of Finance and National Planning budgets to provide guidance on which budget line of the 2 that have been made available to be used for inland carbon emission reported by the agency. Joint reconciliation exercises are being undertaken to enhance collaboration between the stakeholders. An extract of the joint reconciliation report is submitted for your ease of reference, and this is in Appendix 1. The agency has revised its module of projecting its estimates of revenue, and the table below shows the reconciled revenue for road traffic collections as per the estimates of revenue and expenditure book for 2021. So from the reconciliations that have been done, Chair, by the Ministry of Finance and the agency, the actual collections is actually 579,595,534, which gives an under collection of 18,349,308. B, unaccounted for revenue, Chingola and Silverest Station. Section 129, subsection 1 of the Public Finance Management General Regulations, number 1 of 2020, stipulates that an office holder shall not use public revenue for personal use, whether temporarily or otherwise. Contrary to the regulation, amounts totaling 1,820,643 were collected on various dates during the period between January 2020 and December 2021 at Chingola and Silverest Station in respect of road traffic collections, out of which 1,460,468 was deposited, leaving a balance of 360,175 unaccounted for, in that neither cash was found on hand nor deposit slips as of August 2022. The table breaks down that tabulation. Management response. Cause. The committee may wish to note that the officer responsible for banking revenue collected at Silverest was teaming and lagging. The supervising officer was out of office on official duty during this period. While the RTSA officer at Chingola conspired with an employee of a client's company to transact against ledger balances of bank transfer payments. Some cash payments made by the clients were not declared by the RATSA officer when compared to the cash lodgement forms signed off by the cashiers. The current status. The responsible officers were disciplined in line with the RTSA grievancy and disciplinary code. The officers were discharged from their duties. The underbanked revenue at Silverest was recovered from his dues and remitted to the Revenue Transit Bank account, while the Chingola officer was not paid his gratuity. The company in question has not complained of a loss. The police will not prosecute as there is no loss, Attached is the copy of the bank remittance advice, and this is in Appendix 2. Measures put in place. The agency has enhanced checks for station managers over revenue collection against bank revenue. Station managers are required to scrutinize the transactions processed through the bank transfers. The agency undertook capacity building for station managers. C. Delayed banking silver arrest. Section 28, subsection 2 of the Public Finance Management Act number 1 of 2018 stipulates that, subject to any express direction of the Secretary to the Treasury in respect of the operation of any fund or working account, all monies received by an accounting officer or any office holder responsible for the collection of money shall be deposited in the consolidated fund no later than next business day, following the day of receipt, unless otherwise directed by the Secretary to the Treasury. Contrary to the Act, it was observed that there were delays in banking of revenue collected at Silver Rest Station in amounts totaling 78,514, ranging from 5 to 20 days, involving 7 transactions, despite the bank facilities being within a radius of 5 kilometers from the station. Management response. Cause: the supervising officer was out of the office and there was a delay in checking the accounting records. The current status: both supervising officer and the erring officer were disciplined in line with the RTSA grievance and disciplinary code. The erring officer has since been discharged from his duties. Measures put in place. The agency has enhanced checks for station managers over revenue collections against banked revenue. Station managers are required to scrutinize the banking documents for deposited money. The agency undertook capacity building for station managers. D. Weakness in managing road service license for the public service vehicles. The RTSA Licensing Procedure Manual of 2021, road service license is a license that authorizes the holder to convey passengers or goods for hire and reward. Further, Section 102, subsection 1 of the Road Traffic Act number 11 of 2002 states that no person shall use or cause or permit to be used any vehicle for the purpose of standing or plying for hire or as a public service vehicle for the carriage of persons unless there is in force in relation to such vehicle a road service license and vehicle authorizing such use. Contrary to the Act, a review of the accounting and other records revealed the following. 1. Failure to collect RSL fees from buses operating in the stations. During the period from January to December 2021, 62 buses in Lusaka province operated without paying for RSL fees, resulting in revenue loss of 32,823. Management response. Cause: the committee may wish to know that the non-compliance to the road service license scheme by most operators is due to the reduced enforcement activities after the withdrawal of the Zambia police to mount checkpoints. The current status: the agency has stepped up enforcement activities targeting public passenger transporters to complement the absence of Zambia police. The road service license scheme requirements have been streamlined to make it more user-friendly and enable most operators to qualify. Measures put in place. We have proceeded to block the vehicles on the system, and the necessary fees shall be collected the next time the operators will transact with the agency. Chair, there will be an update on that particular one. 2, loss of revenue, taxis operating under Yango and Olendo. Online taxi service operators did not meet the required specification for a public service provider as specified in Road Traffic Act number 11 of 2002. Sorry, that's supposed to be 2002, section 102, subsection 1. A review of 269, that is 171 Yango vehicles and 98 Olendo vehicles, revealed that revenue in amounts totaling 139,342 was not collected, in that vehicles operating under the above operators did not pay the RISL fees. Further, although the above motor vehicles operated as public service vehicles, they were not registered with RTSA, who are the regulators, as taxis. Management response. Cause. The committee may wish to know that the non-registration of operators of car hailing systems on road service license was due to non-provision in the Road Traffic Act to provide for licensing of such kind of online hailing services. The current status: the Road Traffic Amendment Act number 8 of 2022 has been enacted and has made appropriate provisions to license the online operators. The draft statutory instrument to actualize this has been submitted to the Ministry of Justice for approval. Measures put in place. Engagement with online operators have taken place to sensitize them on the need for them to legalize their operations. Stakeholder workshops were held in Lusaka and Ndola. Targeted enforcement activities were initiated for online operators that had branded their vehicles, and there has been some compliance. E. Failure to fill key fields on the motor vehicle database. A complete and reliable motor vehicle database should have the following key fields completed to ease identification of motor vehicles and the owners: national registration number, motor vehicle registration number, model, make, engine capacity, first registration date, among others. However, a review of the motor vehicle database revealed that there were 146 motor vehicles with wrong cylinder capacity and unknown models and make. Management response. Cause. The committee may wish to know that this was caused by inaccurate capturing of data by examiners and data capturers who were rounding off the cylinder capacities to the nearest whole number instead of capturing as they appeared on the vehicle. Current status. The motor vehicles with wrong cylinder capacity have all been corrected on the system based on the examiner's physical inspection report. The data is available for verification. Measures put in place. Capacity building programs have been lined up for examiners and data capturers to re-emphasize the need to capture accurate vehicle details. A directive was issued to all provincial and station managers to ensure accurate capturing of data before authorization of transactions. The table below shows the corrected data. Chair, there's the table, there's Appendix 1 and Appendix 2 that follow to support our submission. I wish to submit. Thank you.
Thank you, PS, for submission. Honorable members, that's a submission from the Permanent Secretary from the Ministry of Transport and Road and Logistics. Honorable Lumai, can proceed.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. Thank you, PS, for that wonderful submission before this committee. Chair, it appears there is a discrepancy in terms of information. The RTSA, Road Transport Agency, is saying that Zambia Revenue Authority collect some funds on their behalf, and them too collect funds on behalf of ZRA. And the chair, when you go to page 3, the ministry is disputing that instead of them having under collected by 72,317,059, their new table is showing their under collection was 18,349,308. I don't know, Chair, what AG will guide us, whether it is the issue to do with the AG or the ministry did not provide this information, or I don't know, Minister of Finance. I can't understand this because they're disputing this under collection. And Chair, you recall that in some pages we are informed that Zambia Revenue Authority did over collect. Now, if from the budget of Zambia Revenue Authority, Minister of Transport is reducing it by 53,967,000 as funds being collected under Minister of Transport and Communication, then it may appear that the figures need to be reconciled. So I want to get a clarification from both the ministry and the Auditor General on this position. I submit, Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Lumai. Any other question? Yes, Honorable Mkosa.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair. Reading on page 2 of the submission, I have noticed that the witness from RATSA is suggesting that COVID played a role in the under collection. Now, I do not know if you understand that COVID-19 started in 2019 and we had it in 2020, implying that when we were preparing estimates for 2021, we already had an experience of COVID. We understood how COVID was affecting our operations, implying that the issue of COVID was taken account of when the budget for 2021 was being prepared. So, controlling officer, why are you using COVID as a justification for under collection? Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Any other question, honorable members? Yes, Honorable Sabao, proceed.
Thank you, Chair. PS, considering that government lost a lot of resources because of your under correction, what measures have you put in place so that in future you correct above the budget? I submit, Chair.
Thank you. PS, you can proceed and answer those 3 questions. If anything, you can also redirect to people from RATSA for any clarification. You can proceed.
Thank you, Chair. My colleagues will come in and chip in to give some detail that I may not provide in this respect. But with respect to Honorable Mai's question on the discrepancy and the position of the ministry that the under collection was 18,349,308. This follows a reconciliation that was done between the ministry, the Ministry of Transport, the agency, and the Ministry of Finance. So that table I want to believe that the Ministry of Finance would be able to speak to and confirm that the under collection indeed is 18 million as indicated in the table. Now, with regard to the issues of COVID relating to the question asked by Honorable Mukosa, I think the committee will agree with me, Chair, that COVID at the time was an evolving pandemic. So even when you make certain assumptions in terms of how you are going to, conduct your business, you found that at some point, they that certain things could not be done. And in this case, you find that because of the COVID restrictions, even the number of people that would actually come to the agency to come and get services reduced. Not only did we have a reduction in the traffic flow of people coming to the agency to come and get the services, but even the enforcement operations themselves, which are meant to ensure that there is a high compliance, and with high compliance you have high revenue expectation, the enforcement activities themselves were affected. Relating to the question from Honorable Savao on what measures have been put in place, the agency has since revised the model that they are using in terms of revenue projection, and these revenue projections, before they are communicated, are basically agreed with the Ministry of Finance to ensure that the model projections are correct. I'll ask that the CEO, Ratsa, comes in to just supplement my submission, Chair.
Thank you. PSCO, you can proceed.
Thank you, Chair. Through the PS. Most of them have been answered by the PS. Just to add, in terms of measures to ensure that we increase revenue and we don't collect below, we have increased the operations for enforcement so that we're able to check since COVID is no longer the way it used to be, and we are able to move. Then also due to the new Amendment Act, there are some provisions that will allow us to be able to collect revenue, such as we are blocking vehicles on the system, and we are now able to send SMSs to those who are non-compliant after we block them, so that they are aware that they need to come and settle their issues with us. And also, you know that Road Transport and Safety Agency is providing services online on the government service bus. As such, you are able to have some of the services in the comfort of your office or home, such as you can pay for your road tax, you can renew your driver's license at home, and with these provisions, we hope that there will be a high uptake of clients, and we'll be able to collect the revenue easily. I submit, Chair.
Thank you. Maybe Honorable Sabao clarification, then Honorable Melesiana Piri, Honorable Daka. It's okay. Okay.
Thank you, Chair. Mine is a clarification on page 3. The table on the bottom. There are 3 items, 1 and 2, and then there's no 3. But when you go to collected the amount and the amount deposited and the next column, there are figures. So may we be guided? Which stations are they? Thank you. And which year?
Thank you so much. Auditor General.
Thank you very much, Chair. The third line should actually be still under Chingola, except that the distinction is that The first one is 2021, and the next one is 2020. And in our report, I think page 27, we have correctly captured it. But I think when they were preparing the submission, they omitted to put under Chingola 2020. So the response could be still sufficient, but only that it's misleading, because it appears that there's a third station that is other than Silverest and Chingora. So we thought that should be corrected. I submit.
Yes, Honorable Luma, you are saying?
Yeah, Chair, there were issues I raised which I wanted the clarification from AG.
Okay, AG, you can proceed.
Okay, thank you very much. Yes, the Honorable, I think, raised issues relating to those estimates against the actual correction. And apparently the controlling officer seems to be disputing the figures that are in the Auditor General's report. What I want to state is that those figures as reflected were picked actually from documentation from Statement B, which is an official position. So if later on then the ministry reconciled and there's a new position, I think that is worrying, because that should have been done at a very early stage. Also, immediately after the amendment, office should have been notified so that appropriate adjustments are done, and maybe also we do a verification. So it's a source of concern. We shouldn't have such anomalies in future.
Yes, Honorable Mfarari, then Honorable Piri.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, actually, on the response that is coming that they had to reconcile, it's unacceptable. And we are not going to accept it here. It's for simple reasons, or for simple reason. RATSA did their reconciliation at the end of 2021. And by the time the auditors were coming in, I mean, if there was any reconciliation and they realized that they were actually underperforming, they should have done the due diligence, or they should have been able to scrutinize their records, so that by the time the Auditor General's office were coming to them, they would have completely reconciled these figures. Unfortunately, I think they are doing it out of I would say maybe out of fear, where they are now coming up with figures that there was some reconciliation that was needed to do with the Ministry of Finance. For me, it's unacceptable, and we are not going to accept it, because it's coming far too late. Those things, they should have been done at the time of audit, not when they are appearing before this committee.
Honorable Piri.
Thank you, Chair. Controlling Officer, I would like to draw your attention to delayed banking of revenue collected from Silverest Station, totaling 78,514. This committee would like to know if this money has been recovered.
Thank you. Honorable Daka, you can come in, then PS, you pick it up from there. Thank you.
Mine is on the unaccounted for revenue under Silverest. Controlling Officer, the figures for the unaccounted for revenue under Silverest are in the amounts of 84,630. When you look at your appendix, where you indicated to the committee that there were recoveries that were made, the proof of the recovery only indicates in amounts of 79,444. I mean, as a committee, we take it that no full recovery was made. Is that the position of the ministry, or maybe there is any other form of recoveries that were made in the same vein? I submit, Chairperson.
Thank you. PS, you can respond to the 3 questions. Okay. Honorable Mkosa.
Thank you so much, Chair. Number one, I would like to add on what Honorable Mfalali said. I think we may have difficulties in getting the position that has been submitted by the controlling officer, because the Office of the Auditor General has not gone through the reconciliation to ascertain as to how accurate it is. So it's very difficult to get that position because it has not been checked. Then number 2, as an addition to what Honorable Daka has asked, the proof that has been shown to us only relates to the deduction that was made from the officer in Chingola. The officer in Chingola, the money that he didn't account for was 179,000, but what has been deducted from his gratuity as per the proof of payment which I have attached from Zanaco is 79,000. So where is the proof for the other 100,000? Then also for this other officer, Silverest officer, there is nothing that has been attached to show that the disciplinary action that you talked about actually was taken or undertaken. And also, there is nothing that shows that there was a deduction or a recovery for this money that was unaccounted for by the officer from Silverest office. Thank you so much, Chair.
PS, you can respond to the questions.
Thank you, Honorable Chair.
Mike, Honorable.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. The concerns of the committee are well noted with regard to the issue of the reconciliation that has been raised by Honorable Falari. What I wish to report, Chair, is the fact that the discrepancy in terms of the under collection arose because the carbon emission surtax was not taken into account when the report was being consolidated. There was a reconciliation, like I indicated, and I do have documentary evidence which is actually stamped by the Ministry of Finance to the extent that the reconciliation was undertaken. So that can be made available to the committee and to the Auditor General for verification, confirming that the figure was 18 million as an under collection. With regard to Honorable Piri, there's a question on whether the delayed banking, whether the money has been recovered. Okay, thank you. Whether the money has been recovered. The issue there, Chair, is the fact that monies were not being deposited as stipulated by the Public Finance Management Act, that the following business day they should actually be deposited. And the officer in charge at Silverest was not doing that. However, the deposits were being made out of time. So in terms of loss, there is no loss. I think the CEO will come and clarify on that one. But the delayed banking normally is where the officer banks out of time, which is against the agent's procedures and the disciplinary code, and hence the reason why the officer was actually taken through the disciplinary process. With regard to the question from Honorable Daka, on the 84,000. Come again? Okay. With regards to the 84,000, showing as the money, that was due, and instead a collection of or a recovery of 79 was made. I'll let the CEO respond to this one before I tackle the last one, Chair.
Okay, CEO, you have 2 questions to respond to.
Thank you, Chair. With regard to the 79 against 84, so the correct amount that was recovered is 79,444 kwacha. There's a discrepancy of 5,128 kwacha. This is due to the reports. Sometimes we have differences. There are 2 reports that are produced from the system, but the official one that we take is the one that had the 79, 444 kwacha. I submit, Chair, for that difference.
PS, you can respond to the last part. Honorable Mkosa.
Chair, I'm not sure if the CEO from RATSA understood our question. He is talking about the discrepancy between 79,613 and 79,444. CEO, when you go to your submission on page 3, when you look at the table that is below, you will see that under Chingola, the amount that was unaccounted for, according to this table, the amount that was unaccounted for is 179,613. When you go to your submission, you have indicated that attached is the copy of the bank remittance advice, appendix C. I think it's 2. You have put 11, but I think you meant 2. Or, well, 11 or 2? 2. So this remittance is showing that the amount that was remitted was, or recovered was, 79,444. The difference from what I am seeing here is 100,000. That's what we would like you to explain. I don't know, did you address that? Did you address that? Because you have just talked about the difference between the last hundreds of ways, but we're talking about the 100,000 difference. Then the other issue is on the officer from Silverest. This officer from Silverest, where is the proof of recovery for the money that was unaccounted for, totaling 84,630?
Honorable Daka, you have a follow-up question? There's a follow-up question from Honorable Daka.
Thank you, Madam Chairperson. I think we need clarity, Madam Chairperson, on these 2 issues. Which is which? These recoveries, because this proof of payment under Zanaco, it doesn't indicate who actually was paying back. It's just like a statement which is just indicating a recovery. I think we need more clarity, whether it's under Silverest or under Chingola. Which is which? Because Chingola, they said they recovered through dues. Where is the proof of recovery? We need the detail very clearly indicating under which officers are we recovering the monies from. I submit, Madam Chairperson.
Thank you. See, Honorable Likando.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, firstly, I think the report itself, this report is below par in terms of the evidence to show the actions taken. There are no actions taken here. If you scrutinize critically, you realize that they are talking of disciplining officers. There are no letters attached to show that they have disciplined anyone. They are talking of deposits being made or with whatever. There is no statement showing that you were deducting from someone. So the list goes on of what they are claiming to have been done by what RATSA is claiming to have been done. And that's why I'm saying it's below par, because the evidence that you are trying to tell us that that's what you did is not in your report. So thereby rendering this report look like, or making it to fail to meet the minimum standards. So the claims that you are putting that you did this and that, they are not here. Coming back, Chair, to the 18 million they are claiming that's the variance. Again, they are saying they have a stamped copy from Ministry of Finance. It's not Ministry of Finance we are auditing them. They are being audited by the Auditor General. And that the reconciliation should have been submitted immediately to the Auditor General so that it can be verified before the report comes here. I think they had all that time. So I think let them come out clear on how they are handling these matters. Otherwise, I think the responses are below par.
Honorable Mr. Manunga.
Thank you, Chair. On the budget figures, the Auditor General audited the financial report, the figures that were reported in the financial report. So if RATSA had a reconciliation, they should have actually, it's done annually, and it might not be the actual position. The position which should be taken is what the Auditor General has reported, because the Auditor General got the figures that were in the financial report, and those are the figures that stand to be audited and to be reported. So I think let them not take us back that they do reconciliation with finance. I know they do undertake reconciliation, but those reconciliations are just to confirm the amounts that have been captured in the transit accounts and other various things. So they should have indicated the figures being indicated in the report are those in the financial report. And they should have taken time to find the figures in the financial report itself.
Thank you. CEO, through the PS, can you respond to the questions from the members according to the way they've been asked? And we also want the supporting documents to your responses.
Thank you, Chair. Through the PS, the supporting documents will be tabled by the PS. And in terms of the deposits, the one that is attached is for Silverest. This is the one I alluded to, where there was a difference of the 84,630 and the 79,444. There was a difference of 5,128. So this deposit is for Silverest. In terms of Chingola, the loss was by the clients, not necessarily RATSA, because of the teaming and larding. So clients deposit money upfront, and this officer was getting the cash and then transferring money from those accounts into the RATSA account. So in terms of the payments, they were being done as per vehicles that were issued. However, the client, the officer got the cash for the clients and replaced it with their ledger accounts. As such, on part of the RATSA, there's no loss, but there's a loss from the client. And this was reported to the police. And the police were supposed to pick up that matter. And the police, because there was no government revenue lost, did not investigate the matter further. But the police were supposed to investigate that matter further, because that's still a criminal case from the point of the officer getting money for the clients. I submit, Chair. The evidence.
CEO, what you should know, when you come to public accounts, as long as the question is in the Auditor General's report, all the communication should be attached. Whether you went to the police, the client didn't have a loss, but the documentation should be attached. Honorable Daka.
Madam Chairperson, I think the CEO is misleading himself. If you look at the report as presented by the controlling officer, I quote, on the current status, it states, the company in question has not complained of a loss. And yet the CEO is saying it's government that never lost. So, yes, he's saying actually the company did not complain. There was no loss on the side of the company. And again, he's informing this committee that actually the company is the one that lost. So which is which?
Eju.
Thank you, Chair. We've noted the position of the CEO, but our fear is that eventually the client may actually claim the loss on the RATSA itself. They may seem to be uninterested now, But these mistakes were happening with the blessings, of course, not necessarily blessings, but under the umbrella of RATS. So you may find that at some point they'll still come back to RATS because they are the employers of the officer concerned. So let's be very careful on how we deal with this.
PS, can you intervene?
Thank you, Chair. Just an additional detail on that matter. The RTSA did go ahead to make recoveries from the officer that was dismissed from Chingola, I think to the extent of about 179 million. The CEO confirmed the figure against the perceived loss from the company. But I wish to take note of the concerns of the committee in terms of the attachments that should have been included to this report. That is valid. The observations are valid. However, we do have the documentary evidence, and if the committee will permit, we can submit that to support this submission.
Why didn't you submit the documents to AG's office when they were doing the auditing? Because as we don't receive unverified documents.
Chair, well guided, will submit them through the Auditor General's report so that they can be verified.
Any intervention from the members? Honorable Likando?
Is the PS now saying they want to resubmit? Because once, if their submission, they are saying this submission should not stand because they have other evidence, then this submission should be put aside. Because otherwise, what they submitted and what they are talking about cannot talk to each other. So, including just now, I heard the CEO saying the money is paid 79,444 was actually the correct figure according to what has been submitted. Simply because they have two generated reports, so they generate two reports. One report was giving us this 84,630. The other generated report by the system was giving them 79,444. So all those reports, again, they are not attached here for us to see what was given to Auditor General and what they are claiming is a generated report by the same system. So I don't know that the discrepancy is talking about arises from two generations or two reports that are generated by the same system. I don't know how that comes about, but it's not also on the books. So if they are going to disown their report, well and good, we can ask them to,
PS?
Thank you so much, Chair. We are not disowning it, the report, but we do take note of the concerns that have been expressed because as it is, the report does not have supporting documentation, which is making it difficult for honorable members.
Order. I adjourn the House for 5 minutes so that we can consider certain things. You can excuse us.
Thank you.
Yes. But they can't bring there and they're supposed to go through the AG's office.